Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. Today we got a Redencion Street 229. Or is it just a Redencion because it's a street? Or is it still a 229?
I don't know.
I don't either. Full titanium. D&K knives. Don Farmer sent this in for our consideration and our review. So I like the little knife. I do. But if you like it, it's for sale out of his personal collection. Contact Don Farmer. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. We probably got a link in our channel description.
I put it in our links in the channel.
Contact him. He'll give you all the details. I can't remember what he's asking for it. I don't want to quote. It's not my knife. It's not my business. But I do know that if you like it and you fall in love with it, you need to pay for it with Sezzle, or you want to go through his business page, he can upload it onto his business page, even though it's out of his personal collection, and you can pay for it over time with Sezzle. Regardless of how you pay for it, if you pay for it on his website, use Apex10 for an additional 10% off. I guess that'll still apply. But anyway, okay, the Redencion Street. So let's break out the Chaves 229 out of our collection.
It's quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, it's
I like it until we put it there. I wasn't realizing.
You didn't realize how big of a difference there was?
Right.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Like,
but
width and everything.
Yeah. So
sorry.
Okay, so pretty much what we're working with here is like, this is about a 3 1/4 inch blade, and this is about a 3 3/4 inch blade. It's got like a 3 inch cutting edge. It's got about a 3 1/4 inch cutting edge. This is about a 7 1/4 inch overall, and the full size is about 8 1/4 overall. It's just a scaled down version of the same knife, and for that reason, I really thought Courtney would just fall in love with it, and like maybe it's a little blocky, isn't it?
It is.
Is that it's kind of your consensus on carrying that knife? It's still a little
thick.
blocky and thick. Okay. Well, it's in M390, and it feels to me like it's got a shallow hollow grind.
I was supposed to say, it looks kind of hollow, yeah.
Yeah, and so so does this one. So same grind.
Yep, same pattern, everything.
Yeah.
Hey, even the swishy part there.
Right. You can see more of the machine lines on this one because it's not a DLC model, and I like that. I like I like being able to see the machine lines. Like that stuff never bothers me, but it'll take stains. It's a little easier. Might be one right there. But man, what do we think about the Street? Let's get the full size Chaves out of the way. What do we think about the Street overall, independent as its own knife?
I do think it's a good EDC size for most people. And the types of pants and stuff that I wear, it is a little blocky for my carry, but your average person, I think it's probably a great size. I do think that finger tool could be a little bigger.
Yeah, it could be.
Like even my little fingers, it's
kind of crazy that it has one, because really the full size version doesn't really have a finger tool at all. It's not something you could even consider choking up on, where you could at least get a tip of your finger on this one. It's more sharpening tool on the full size. And
I guess maybe they did that just because it is a smaller frame to give a little more room for bigger hands, maybe.
Possibly. The
jimping is the larger jimping. It does work. Not usually my favorite jimping.
Right.
It's useful anyway. I mean, it stops your finger.
Just bump the table. So it's a little harder for me to deploy than the regular size Chaves, just because it's a little small in my hands. I'm not.
So you're pushing on the lock bar a little easier or something.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I can deploy it, but it feels a little awkward. You know what I mean? But let's run over some size comparisons with some other stuff. That is a great knife for a size comparison. That is the Demco 80-20.5.
Mm-hmm.
and it's virtually, it's got
Yeah.
a longer handle. The 20.5 has a longer handle and a shorter blade. With this being a Warncliffe, it's probably got about the same
Cutting
edge. I'll drag it down here for a second. We'll see. No, a little bit less. It's probably about 2 3/4 or 2 and 5/8, maybe something like that. Just look at that. Okay, mini glimpse. There's the mini glimpse. It's a little bit shorter and a little less blade. But yeah, I mean, you're right there in that territory. And I think it's really cool that Chaves, offers this for people who don't want to carry something this big. It's not a huge knife to me, but I remember when it was.
Right.
I remember whenever I was looking at the specs and I was like, that's way bigger than
your 940.
Than my 940. I probably never carry that thing. It's a monster. But yeah, well, never mind. I like it. I like it. I like that it exists. And I really don't want to quote the price, but I think he's got a pretty good price on it.
I want to say he said 300, but don't quote.
Yeah, don't quote us. I can't remember either.
I'm having more of a slow roll out with this one. But it feels good. It's definitely feels sturdy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's built well.
Yeah.
You close it. The pivot is rock solid. It's it's not. It has no wiggle back and forth when it's closed. Side to side. I like the thumb studs on this thing. I think it's a little bit different, or is it the same ones?
I think they're
the same ones, just a little
Yeah.
smoother. I think maybe.
They'll have the coating on them. And probably. Makes
Yeah.
it feel a little different.
So it's all titanium, man. Everything's titanium.
It definitely feels much better than the G10 version.
Oh yeah.
That the Redencions come in.
Completely
in my
agree.
Opinion.
Completely agree. What else you got to say about it, Courtney? It's a smaller version of a great knife.
Yep.
And it's not too small. If you're pair 3 territory, and I don't have one of those back here, but yeah, we don't have one of those back here, but a pair 3, yeah, I mean, you're right there in that same neighborhood as a pair 3. And like I said, you know anything about the best-selling knife of 2022, Demco Shark Lock, or the 20.5, then you're right there in that same territory as well. Okay, man. I'm a fan because I'm a fan of the full-size model, and it's not too small to use. But I don't see a scenario where I'd prefer the smaller version over the bigger version myself. That's just me, myself.
Right.
But, I suppose if you do a lot of traveling like I do, it probably wouldn't be a bad one to have around if you were going to a place where 3 inches was about all you could carry.
Well, I was supposed to say, California residents, couldn't carry this one out,
I
right?
don't think they can carry the other one either.
Well,
It's 3 point.
all 3 1/4.
Is that right?
That's
3
right.
1/4. Yeah, I mean the blade length is almost 3 1/2. It's like 3
Never mind
5/8.
then.
Yeah, so
That's pitiful.
it is. Cutting edge is a little less than
Right.
3. It's right there at 3. But as far as the blade, so yeah, I mean, but I don't know. You might get a pass.
Yeah.
But I guess without further just repeating information, man.
Yeah.
If you like it, D&K Knives, man. Don Farmer. His link is
in our
channel description.
channel description.
So check him out. Holler at him. If you want the knife, he's got it for sale. You guys have a great one, and we'll catch you on the flip side.